Good morning again, guys. We're discussing blockchain. It's fantastic, great, but let's make it even better. Let me discuss with you a few potential real use cases of technology. Let me share with you where it is actually now really impacting us in such a positive manner. Let's look at the sectors. We've looked at a couple of companies, we've seen how it works, we understand the basic fundamentals, yes. Now let's see how we can make these fundamentals work for us, how blockchain really works for us. We've heard of so many things. I was just actually doing some inquiries on this. I was doing my banking. I was sending money to my daughter. My daughter's in the United States, and it was her birthday. And I said, let me send her a couple of $100. Fantastic. First I went to the bank, and bang, I was a little overwhelmed. $1 is $75 to me. Oh, that's the first. But doesn't matter, I have to send it. So I sat down, filled in a bunch of forms, paid the bank, I gave him a check, and he said, well, don't worry, sir, your daughter will have the money by tomorrow. Right, not a problem. I gave it, everything went. The next day, my daughter got the money. I was happy, daughter happy, bank was happy. Why was the bank happy? Because they made some money on my transaction. They deducted certain fees from me. Now, let's examine blockchain. Blockchain comes and says, listen guys, we don't need the bank to do transfers. We can do directly. I can send money to my door directly if you were using the blockchain. Yes, blockchain brings in, and is a peer-to-peer technology, means person to person. It removes the middleman. It completely removes the middleman. Here, the middleman being the bank. So, banks, although we always say, yes, banks are trustworthy, banks are great, everything is fine. And we are transferring money, and we're doing everything through banks right now. But how about a technology which comes, removes the bank, all the credit card companies, all the Western Unions, all the PayPals and the Paytms, won't that be something great? That's the place where you're going to find a lot of impact of the blockchain. And that's why more than 30% of blockchain implementations today are in this sector. A lot of banks are moving slowly but steadily towards the blockchain because they say, guys, if you can't beat them, let's join them. So banks found the blockchain a threat, then decided we can't counter it, so let's make friends with it. And that's exactly what's done. And in India, one of the top banks, ICICI Bank, along with Axis Bank and 5 others, 7, they made the first start, are now on the blockchain. They have gone on to the JP Morgan, who has created a blockchain. They've gone on that. That's a big plus. That's how the banking industry is slowly migrating a lot of its processes onto the blockchain. How will it help us? It will be transparent. Our data and financial data will be very secure. All our transactions will be more secure. They're going to be less prone to hacking, phishing, and many other malicious intents. That's one of the biggest impacts of blockchain starting off. Let's move from a financial sector to another very contentious sector, real estate. How many cases are pending in courts where real estate deeds are not clear, titleships are not clear? What happens? Why? Why does that happen? That happens because we don't have earlier records, or they are not very accurate, or they have been manipulated. We've heard of many horror stories such as this. Now imagine if all our land deeds were on the blockchain. Nobody can change them now. No middleman, no broker, no consultants, no service charge guys can actually sit down and manipulate these records. You have access to them directly. Also, when you have such transaction deeds on them, if you want to sell your own properties anytime you want, do you need a broker? You won't need a broker. You can actually have everything on the blockchain, mix and match, and when you sell something, you can have smart contracts that actually execute the sales deed, or if it's a rental deed on the spot, saving you hours, days, months. You do not have to go for registrations to stamp offices and stand in lines. You do not have to pay brokers to get you ahead in the lines. You do not have to pay bribes. You don't have any of these headaches. And trust me, there are headaches. These are headaches which we all and our forefathers have gone through. You should not have to do that. Bring everything on the blockchain, bring the land titling, bring all the flats on this. Now, there's another benefit for this. If you have everything on this blockchain, and the Maharashtra government, for example, is planning to put all titleship land deeds on the blockchain, when that happens, wow, it's going to be fantastic. Why? You improve your land ownership in seconds. When a bank wishes to give you a loan, all it needs to do is check your verify your documents on the blockchain. And within minutes, they can approve that yes, this property is completely tamper-proof. If nothing has happened, it's perfect. We can go ahead and do loans. Fast, easy, more efficient. That's what's going to happen in this industry as well. So we've got a lot of things happening in this space. A lot in India also, for example, a lot of governments are putting a lot of land titles on the blockchain. Another very important aspect, although yet very, let's put it at the very nascent stage, is the legal services. Legal services, contracts, notaries, basically the smart contracts in blockchain can replace all these over a period of time. Of course, we need to have the right compliances, right sets of SOPs, yes, but it's going to happen. Soon, a lot of legal documentation will be on the blockchain, will be as smart contracts. Smart contracts are nothing but code written to do a particular action. You meet the criteria, you will get through. Saving hours of time, hours of paperwork, and more important, in many cases, you will not need any notary or an advocate sitting just because you don't know the system. It's going to make it easy, it's going to make it relevant, and more important, very, very efficient. So the legal sector is going to be a very, very important sector. It's already happening in many, many countries abroad. We hope that in the next few years, India sees problem with that. Another sector which is actually fantastic for this block, is ideal and right for the picking in blockchain, is voting. Now we all know that voting is a very contentious process. It is very controversial also. We had talks about booth capturing, we had talks about EVM tampering, all these things. We had a lot of these talks. So what's happening here? What's happening here is, can we put this on the blockchain? Yes, we can put on the blockchain. How do we put on the blockchain? We have a KYC on the blockchain. Everybody's KYC on the blockchain. Nobody knows who's putting the vote because it is unseen. But yet the KYCs are certain who they are. They gave their credentials, they have cast their vote. No one comes to know who's done what. No revenge. Nobody saying, why did you not vote for us? So on and so forth. You have the right to exercise your franchise as a citizen of a country without the fear. We live in a lot of fear nowadays. This needs to go. India too, a few months back, the Election Commission has and is contemplating putting a lot of these platforms in place so that they can be a democratic process on a blockchain. If that happens, and when that happens, that will be a great moment for a democracy such as ours, and we look forward to that as well. Another very important place where I see a lot of application of blockchain would be the stock markets. The stock markets have always been very volatile. They have been very, very dynamic and fluid. By putting systems on the blockchain, there is again total transparency of transactions, rates, buy, sell. Example, as a stockbroker, I sometimes, okay, all the savvy people are trading online, that's fine. You're all good with it. But what about others who are not? They give it to the consultants, the financial consultants, etc., to help them trade. I have sold something for say 100 rupees, and I've been told, no, sir, you got 99 rupees or 98 rupees for it, and you bill them accordingly. A lot of things happen. There have been a lot of speculative areas. Blockchain comes, secures that, puts that mesh in place. Now there can be no manipulation of price, timing, dates, backdating, nothing can happen. Blockchain brings in a new revolution of transparency in another sector, that is the broking sector, the stockbroking sector. We have many other sectors, but have you understood right now the implications? Different sectors. Okay. Let me talk about another sector which is majorly impacted. That's the food sector. We can now, as I told you in one of my earlier episodes, we can track everything from farm to fork, entire supply chain of a product, not just any product, everything can be on the supply chain. Recently, a country called Malawi. Malawi is in Africa. It's a very poor country in Africa, but it has an abundance of one crop, and that crop is marijuana. Now, a lot of people say marijuana, oh, but that's a drug. No, no, it's not actually. It's actually marijuana has got a lot of medical properties and is used by pharma companies for its medicinal properties. They have decided, because they want to have more transparency in the systems, because people don't trust Africans, the way the supply chain works, etc. So they said, let's put our marijuana crop on the blockchain. In India too, in Haryana, they're putting a lot of the agriculture produce on the blockchain. It's easy to track, it's easy to trace. Also, it brings in the ease and facilitated business faster. Smart contracts enable them to get things into the market much faster before any expiry dates, etc. And therefore fresher, more potency, and therefore better product comes to the consumer. That's blockchain impacting freshness. Very recently, I spoke to a couple of airlines, and they say they are putting a lot of thinking of implementing a lot of blockchain processes in the airline itself. So I asked them, what do you plan to do? He said, sir, that's what you're there for. Why don't you tell us? So I told them, okay, listen, let's do one thing. Your boarding passes, your KYC documents when you enter, you don't have to stand in lines. Not only that, you're going international travel. Why don't we experiment with blockchain passports? Futuristic thinking, but then everything is futuristic. We're thinking of the future. Blockchains are bringing things of the future today. We are actually touching tomorrow today. So we can have for airlines complete detailed KYC of a passenger. So right from the ticketing, right from his immigration form filling, right from there, and all of this secure that nobody else has this information but you. You can release that or not. So airlines too are contemplating using blockchain in a very, very big way. We have already got some airlines at the experimental stage, not yet gone through completely. A lot of protocols to be put, but yes, very soon you may be having a blockchain-enabled passport. What about personal identification? How many types of IDs do you have? I'll say, all right, I got a PAN card, I got an Aadhaar card, I got a driving license, I got an election card, I got a ration card, I got a passport, maybe some student ID, plenty of IDs. Now, how about having a single identity on the blockchain? Why do you need so many identities to prove who you are? Sometimes you need an Aadhaar card, sometimes you need a PAN card, so on and so forth. Now, if you have a digital identity on the blockchain, information about you is secure. A very small example I'll share. You, in India, for example, the legal age for drinking, I think, is 21 years old, 21 years. So, if I go to a bar, and he says, where is your ID? I say, here's my Aadhaar card. So now the barman and everybody in the restaurant has access to your Aadhaar card. He takes a copy of it or he puts on the details, whatever. Now, with blockchain, let's see what happens. Let's see. If it's on the blockchain, all you do is you walk in the bar, automatically the smart contract executes. Yes, it doesn't give you a name, it doesn't give you a name, it gives you everything. It gives you date of birth, it gives everything what is required to qualify that you can drink a bottle of whiskey or a glass of whiskey. It does that automatically without you having to know his name, exact date of birth. It executes immediately. Look at that. It's a very simple way of doing it, but wow, really easy. You can determine things at just the click. So your digital identity can be entirely put on the blockchain. So instead of having carrying multiple, you just need a single one point. It's a script, a code which you have the permissions to give. Another very interesting thing in India and even abroad is copyrights. If I write a nice story or a song or some music, how do I register it? Somebody can pick it up like this. We've had so many cases of plagiarism. We've had so many cases of music rights being violated. We've had cases of stories being taken from poor guys who have not registered their story or something. And so now this is my story, and people have made billions from there. They have become millionaires. How do we prevent that? We prevent that by putting all this on the blockchain. So when it's in the blockchain, automatically when somebody uses your material, you automatically get a royalty for it. That's a big thing. You're sitting down home, you really don't know who's buying your books or who's buying your copyrights or who's buying your music rights. This solves that issue. Finally, there's one more I'd like to end my session now today. I've given you 9. Let me give you the lucky 10. Can you give me 10? Alright, again, you're not going to give me 10. Maybe later on, but my 10th one is I come back again. Health data. Health data is now, by 2024, most of our health data will be digitized and on the blockchain. So they can be sharing, caring, research, study, and more important, privacy. Lots more, but as of now, that's all, guys. Write to me for more, like us, tell us if we can tell you more. We'll be happy to share lots more. I'll see you again very soon. Take care.